Yo, what up, street talk, street gods, street vlogs, Urkim in the house, right? Some turbo thoughts for us, right? So, why fitness is a field ripe for disruption? So, fitness, diet, health, blah blah, is all kind of the same thing. I think the reason why it is so interesting and critical is because when it comes to, the thing that binds all humans together, what is it? It's iPhone cameras and fitness, right? And so, it don't matter how rich or poor do you want, everyone cares for health, wellness, ancient Proto-Indo-European are similar things. And I think, no one would want to become, a trillionaire if they had the world's worst health in the world. So, for example, you wouldn't want to be a billionaire if you only slept like 2 hours a night. That wouldn't, it doesn't matter how many Lambos and bootylicious babes you have, it's not going to be worth it. Also, another funny intervention: if you actually want to become happier, more swole, and stronger, ironically enough, you actually don't want to be blowing your load. So actually there's a reason why boxers, they don't have intercourse, or certainly don't rub one out before the night of the big fight, etc. And I think if you think about the ancient kind of like Eastern Europe, it's not Eastern Asian philosophies, the yin yang, your spunk is the yin or yang, I forget which one, and if you blow it, you're doing energy suicide. I mean, let us consider is like the point of intercourse and having sex, whatever, is actually to beget children. Imagine all the energy and force a man has to essentially ejaculate in order to give birth to a child, right? It's a lot of energy, so you want to conserve your energy. So I think it's so funny because currently, going Gold's Gym, Venice, the way that people think about health, fitness, and working out, it's so myopic. It's same old shit. Is essentially, it's like, what you want to do is, X amount of reps for max sets, and you use machines, to his chest day, to his back day, whatever. The reason why it's such a foolish way to think about things is because A, I think it's pseudoscientific. B, I think the only reason they kind of sell that is because it makes things more marketable, and there's a huge industry of monies to be made via these machine selling companies that try to get you to the machine because it's quote safer. In fact, I think actually machines are more dangerous than free weights, because the machines will regulate your body in a very fixed pattern. And I actually remember, I was doing the speed bike back in college. I got a pretty bad knee injury, which nagged me for almost a full week in college, because I was doing the speed bike or whatever. So I think that stuff is, if people like to bike for fun, I mean, that's totally cool, but one should not do it for quote exercise. Some other notions which I think should be disrupted is you should do quote reps, right? Like X amount of repetitions, and it's virtuous to churn out 300 push-ups in a row. But to me, that's kind of this foolish notion in America, or modern day capitalism, that more repetitions, more of a thing, is more virtuous. In fact, my thought is, think about it this way: what's more impressive, to lift 1,000 pounds once, or to lift a 10-pound weight 1,000 times, right? And so I also think that in terms of strength and muscles, we actually gain and grow from, like what Nassim Taleb calls the tail events, right? The 1 rep maxes. And so even bodybuilders and everybody, who want to get stronger, I think should actually be doing more of the 1 rep max approach. So people are, but I want to maximize my results, hypertrophy, blah blah. Hypertrophy actually means over nutrition. Hooper, Proto-Indo-European means over. Trophia, it actually just means nutrition. So technically, if you want bigger muscles, you just have to eat more meat, right? And also I was thinking, it's why is the modern day man so emasculated? It's because man is made into a sick animal in which producing and accumulating capital, a la Benjamin Franklin, is the only virtue. And therefore, a man is only allowed to be masculine by, you know, buying a Lamborghini and a 911, GT3 RS, blah, 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 as muscle cars, etc. It's like, call them muscle car. Like, why don't you turn your body into muscle, right? And also, you know, other things is just like, if you like kind of more Puritan notions, like you want to be like elite, elevated, high class, you gotta be quiet. So man is not allowed to yell, grunt, scream, be an animal. And also it's I don't know, I think the modern day man is just kind of insecure and weak and you know, addicted to social media, thinking about what everyone else is thinking. Like, this is a pro tip: never trust no quote unquote influencer or fitness person or bodybuilder or weightlifter or powerlifter, anyone who has an Instagram. I think anybody who uses Instagram is seriously signaling some sort of severe lack of self-esteem. I would say only trust people who have their own websites and blogs, because that's the most authentic place to be. And yeah, and also when people say, oh, you know, my workout plan works, the reason you can't trust nobody is because everyone's on the juice. Even the calisthenics guys on the juice. Even yoga people's on the juice. CrossFitters on the juice. You know, the Rich Froning guy, the champion of the CrossFit Games, pretty sure is on the juice, right? Even apparently a lot of guys who don't look that buff or, you know, roided out actually are on steroids too. And even everything I'm saying, just, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but at least the reason why I like my ideas is that they're much more unorthodox, unconventional, against the grain. And I mean, at least currently speaking, I have nothing to gain from health, diet, fitness, wellness. I'm essentially my Archimedes lever is still like photography, blogging, vlogging, etc. And so at least, you know, nobody is telling the quote-unquote truth, but at least there's a deeper level of quote-unquote truthiness in terms of the things that I'm sharing with you. And I ain't finna play you guys. Yeah, so, you know, certain feats of strength, which I think are fun. I mean, what does it mean to be a real man? I think it's to display feats of strength. It doesn't matter if you look the buffest, unless you is the buffest, unless you's the strongest. It ain't that interesting. So even, you know, made a little viral sensation at Gold's Gym Venice a few days ago. Had a little audience. The legendary 330-pound golden dumbbells. At first I thought it was a prop, but I actually discovered afterwards it's actually real weights, right? And apparently some guys told me, it's like, I've never seen nobody ever pick it up, and then ain't nobody thought I could do it, right? I'm like, easy, lightweight, right? And then lift it up with 2 hands, put down, went back the other day, I just did it again. I put a GoPro Mini on my chest mount and just lifted it to give you a guy's point of view. Also, I think a new future for working out, not like stupid people with those iPhone Pros and the little stands, or even like people vlogging on the Micro Four Thirds Lumix Panasonic cameras. I think it's going to be point of view perspective. Put a GoPro Mini on your chest mount and just show them how you work out and stuff like that. And yeah, do it topless. It's much more interesting when you're topless. You can see the muscles, doing the short shorts, doing the speedo. Like, one of the good things I like about going to the Gold's Gym in Venice, looking at these old pictures, you see these super duper buff swole dudes just walking around the beach in speedos, and their legs, especially the upper quads and thighs, are so impressive and godlike. I'm like, now I can see why people saw these guys like demigods, because they do look like them, right? And so yeah, I would say the new goal and the new ideal for us as weightlifters, bodybuilders, you know, men of strength, and also women of strength. Doesn't matter what you is, unless you's not a dog. You could, I think these things work for anybody and everybody. 100% carnivore, intermittent fasting, no breakfast, no lunch, only 1 huge dinner a day, 1 rep max style lifting. Maybe it's a good idea to work out at least twice a day, once a day, twice a day, whatever has you. And I mean, all knowledge and information is always a stream of becoming, and just keep streaming your ideas as you get them.